Alright, my friends, welcome to Cook's Forest State Park. And my parents are renting this CCC era cabin here. And so I'm going to show you around the cabin real quick before we get into whatever other adventuring we've got going on in this episode, which is kind of weather dependent. But for now, yeah, let's go check this out. So let's start off here with this beautiful front porch. And you can see the beautiful Clarion River just behind me. And we're going to be kayaking that at some point over the course of this journey. There is a fire pit over there in front of my mom's Jeep, which I'll show you. But you could sit out here, sit over there, have the fire, and just enjoy the Clarion River. This is cabin number 1. So, but I believe all of them along this road are going to give you something similar. As soon as you walk in the door, you're going to get to some bunk rooms. You want to show them around the bunk rooms?
There's 2.
No, I'm going to show that.
1 bunk in this room.
And like a queen size-ish bed on the bottom?
Yeah, I think so. There's 2 sets in here. This one's a little bit bigger.
You got log walls dividing every room, so it's a pretty much authentic log cabin. So we've ditched the children and now we're headed over into the living room. Now, some things to keep in mind. This is totally rustic. Climate control is a propane stove over there.
And ceiling fans.
And some ceiling fans. And there's no bathroom here, so...
No sink or running water at all, it looks like.
But it is a big, nice, I don't know what we call this, a dining room, I guess, more than anything.
Yeah. Main living area.
Main space. But it's beautiful inside. And, you know, a good place to get out of the weather if the weather is bad. And so, you know, if you're coming here, you want to be enjoying the state park and the surrounding stuff. Obviously, you can check out last week's episode if you're looking for the most epic hike that Cook Forest is known for. But, yeah, let's go check out the kitchen space. So there's a gas stove and an oven, and it comes with a refrigerator and a microwave, some storage space. So you could feasibly cook whatever you needed and store whatever you needed food-wise. And
there's an outdoor water spigot somewhere out here. Out right there.
So yeah, there is a spigot here if you need water to supply yourself while you're here. And then, like I said, right over there is your fire pit that I showed you. Lots of doors to get in and out as well. And there's a light out here, so might make it easy to get to and from the fire pit. That's it for the rustic cabins here at Cook Forest State Park. We're going to be headed back to our camper here shortly, and we're going to be making some kibasi over the fire up there, and who knows what tomorrow may bring, because there's no cell phone service here at Cook Forest, so we don't know what the weather's supposed to do tomorrow, but we'll just play it by ear. One last thing I'm going to mention is there's no pets allowed at this cabin, but there are some cabins that allow pets. And as with pretty much everything in the Pennsylvania state parks, you're not supposed to have alcohol here. So you can't get away from the no alcohol rule just by getting one of these rustic cabins on the river. Friends, welcome to this rainy day here at Cook Forest State Park. Right now, if you can sort of see without getting me too wet, this is the sawmill showroom and display. It's like a craft display store type of thing. We're just checking this out. And then over that way, the lizard map shows something intriguing. So there's some sort of paved trail, short thing. If it's not raining too hard, that's kind of next on our agenda. right across from the Sawmill Center of Arts, or whatever it's called, is this Black Bear Trail. It starts here. Rachel, William, and myself are gonna walk down this way and try to find this purple lizard. Usually those are something interesting, but if nothing else, we found a spider web, so we got that going for us. But let's hit this trail. While you're up here, you could always spend the night in one of these little forts. There's one there and another one over here, and I don't know if these are campsites or what the story is here, because they've got some split firewood hanging out here. Let's see what it says. Do not move firewood. Cook Forest State Park to be utilized during annual French and Indian War encampment. Theft of firewood would be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. So I guess you can't camp here and use the firewood. But yeah, they must use this as like a...
Unless you're here for the reading?
Yeah, they must use this as a spot for a French and Indian War reenactment.
They do that at Fort Necessity.
Okay.
Have you ever been there for that?
No. So this, what we're about to do here, is called the Paved Sensory Trail. I'm not really sure what that is, but let's check it out.
There's Braille.
Everything's written in Braille on the signs, as well as the letters like actually come out of the thing.
There's a way the cable runs throughout too, I guess.
Interesting. It's interesting. This trail enters into the Forest Cathedral Natural Area, and as I understand it, it's a way to get people whose senses, it's a way for people who may be blind or whatever to come and experience the Forest Cathedral. And so that's pretty nice that they have something like this. And the signs basically kind of tell them what's going on around them, tell them ways to use the senses that they do have, smell and stuff, to experience. And there's the talks about the winds and the cool air that the hemlocks bring, and stuff that they can feel and experience, so that they would know how special this place really is. So that's really neat that they do something like that, and that, someone's thinking of everybody, and so that's awesome. Look at this red oak behind me, how massive that one is. So you would walk around this trail and use your hand to follow the wire, and then they put them little square things on the wire so that would alert people to know that there's a sign to read. That's interesting. Here's another big oak back there. But the signs talk about the dead beech trees and the beech wood that's on the ground, and how that's a viable resource for fungus and other creatures and critters. So yeah, even the dead trees provide a valuable resource to the forest. So you'll never know really what a purple lizard might be, but this is probably one of the most unique ones. Probably one of the most unique ones we've come across, really. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that was a really... Okay, alright. That was really well done trail. The signage was very informative. It pointed out really a lot of interests along the trail. It wasn't long, so it was perfect for tiny children. And we really enjoyed that.
Hey, we can't do anything else because the threat of thunderstorms coming.
We don't want to be like deep in the woods if a thunderstorm starts. So
No, and we have Monday morning to do the Pine Run Loop, so that'll be in next week's episode, of course. But then the rest of this episode is going to be our kayaking adventure tomorrow. So if all goes to plan, that's what we're going to be doing. Right now, we're just kind of going to go back to the camper and relax. Today's been a fairly relaxed day, doing some dog training exercises and things with Theo
and
Lily, because we're trying to break some of Lily's bad habits and also make sure that Theo doesn't pick up any bad habits. So that's the plan for the rest of the day. What are we cooking? Fish?
So fish and rice pilaf and green beans, I think.
Yeah, so maybe we'll show you some of the cooking, because I like doing cooking
We're doing
stuff.
that on charcoal, right?
Yes. That ought to be fun. We'll see you back over at the camper. Alright, my friends, we are here at the 4 Mile Access boat launch on the Clarion River. As you can see, the conditions are a little bit low, but we're hoping that we won't be dragging our kayaks and stuff too much. It did rain last night, but not enough to help us out. So we're just getting started. We got my parents and the dogs, and it's a little bit of a organized chaos type of situation, but I think we're all good. I'm gonna go park the truck. There's a nice little area down here to bring your truck down, launch your stuff, and get rolling. So yeah, that's where we're at. See you out on the river. Should be a fun day. Alright, so we're doing about an 8-mile float today from 4 Mile Access down to the Gravel Lick boat access. This should be a pretty calm section of water, no rapids or anything like that. There are places on this river with rapids if that's something you're interested in, and I believe they're, close enough that you could do it while RV camping or whatever here at Cook Forest State Park. But this boating thing seems to be a really popular activity here at Cook Forest. And really, it wasn't even something that was on my radar. But when they suggested that we do this, I was all about it because we've had such a good time boating on all our recent adventures. There are some rocks and things in the river you'll have to navigate when it's this low, but it's not too bad so far. But yeah, like every person up at the campground, they've got kayaks and boats and stuff. And there's just people driving around with boats everywhere. So I would suggest that this is probably the most popular activity here, actually, not hiking, which is what I would have thought. But of course, it's the middle of summer too. This is prime boating season. It's the end of August, early September. Well, it looks like the little dog takes after the big dog and refuses to stay in the boat. We're hoping this little guy settles down a little bit, but he's gonna swim some energy out of himself. But I don't know, he's been good on the boats in the past, but we're doing this really early in the morning, so dog's full of energy and doesn't really want to listen. Now, if you're wondering why I'm floating down the river backwards, well, it's so shallow that with these Intex boats, they got the shark fin underneath. Well, you can't really use that whenever you're on a shallow water like this, so I had to take it off. It was dragging everywhere. But now the problem is I have absolutely zero control over what direction I'm headed. It's more like an inner tube at this point. Very difficult to control. But I'm headed towards a rock, so I need to paddle, or I'm going to be in a kerfuffle. It's a good boy? It's a good boy. So we've been lucky enough to keep everybody calm so we could see an osprey just fly over our heads. That was a pretty neat experience up here. And that's, the type of things you can experience up here at Cook Forest State Park. The bad dog over there refuses to stay in any sort of boat. And the little dog wants out just as much as Lily wants out. Or I think Lily wants in this boat with him. I can't figure it out. And over on Rachel's boat is a new Yeti cooler that we just bought. Now, I'm not like a Yeti brand loyalist by any means, But I wanted a waterproof cooler for boating and something small to fit in the cab of the truck for like grocery runs to and from the camper and things like that. So that's what we got. They were discontinuing those colors, so it was on sale, and I had Cabela's points. Got it on the cheap. We always try to do things as budget friendly as we can, so even if we're buying something expensive, you know, you wait till you get a deal on it and it's not so expensive anymore. But that's gonna work out perfect for this trip. Like I said, it's waterproof, which is why I went with the Yeti. We're gonna take our lunch down on Hemlock Island, which from what I understand is a pretty special place, and I believe there's a purple lizard just up from Hemlock Island on a creek. I have to imagine it's a waterfall. I do believe it's a bushwhack to get to, but we're gonna try our best to get there to whatever that purple lizard may be. Look, we got an osprey and who knows what's up ahead, but I'm sure it's gonna be awesome. And a little dog who won't stay in the boat. Hey, little dog. Hey, little dog. What you doing, little dog? Theo, what you doing? Are you being a bad dog? So there was a section of water here where we just couldn't navigate. We had to get out and drag the boats. Not a fun experience. The dog here is just starting to settle in for the ride, and we got stuck. And I don't like this inflatable boat dragging because I don't want to pop it, because that's gonna lead to a real bad day. Like, we got a long way to go, so it would be a miserable walk in any direction. So we're trying our best, but I think we're back in deeper water now. And if I can get this dog to settle in and take a nap, and hopefully we don't have to drag the boats anymore. But the scenery is awesome. It's a beautiful morning, a beautiful day. This is Sunday of Labor Day weekend, I guess. And yeah, we're really enjoying ourselves prior to having to drag the boats. So, but now he's licking me. So I don't know what that's about. But yeah, we're just gonna keep on trucking on down the river here. Alright, so we have reached the State Route 36 Cooksburg Bridge, and I think that about marks the halfway spot in our journey. Our next stop should be down here at Hemlock Island, which I'm not really sure on the history of it, but from what I understand, it is a pretty unique place. So we shall see when we get there if I can control my boat in the meantime. Lily seems to have finally gotten tired. She is on the boat, finally. Let's hope she stays there. But we shall see. We are still struggling with the shallowness of the river in spots. It just kind of is what it is. It'd be nice if it was about 6 inches higher. somehow I've ended up being a charter for bad dogs. So I've got both of them here. Lily's in a boat finally, hopefully for the duration of the trip, because I think she's pretty well done. And Theo, he needs a nap. He's been swimming. So it appears as though people was getting hungry, so kids especially. And there's a set of rapids up there. I mean, they're not rapids, but they're heavy riffles for sure. It's kind of fun to go through actually, but that kind of exhausted everybody. So we were just kind of here at a calm spot on the river bend. And I believe Hemlock Island is just down below. So we'll be stopping again down there to go find the lizard. But right here, we're just gonna have lunch and relax on the bank and enjoy the beautiful day. It's a little cool, but that's kind of, the water is a little cold, especially when the dogs splash you. But yeah, and Sarah's having the time of her life, and so it's good to get kids this sort of experience. Let's go make some sandwiches. So if you go back a couple episodes to where we stayed at Muddy Run out in the Lancaster area, there's a town called Intercourse, Pennsylvania, and Stoltzfoots, I think is how you say it, meat market. Well, they had these are kibasi with pepper jack cheese, like snack sticks, and they're the most amazing thing in the world. We got several different kinds of snack sticks there. We've tried them all. We were eating some at Buttonwood, and now we're here at Cook Forest eating them. And yeah, I mean, these are amazing. If you're ever out in the York, Lancaster area, it's worth a stop.
That's dangerous. So like we went down there first and I was like, well, this is kind of a letdown. And then we came up here and boy, that is a very dangerous place to go with like a wallet, because like you just want to walk out with the whole store.
All right, lunchtime is over. We're back on the water and headed toward Hemlock Island. Alright, so friends, behind me here is Hemlock Island. That seems to be a popular place, easy place for people to get down and swim. So there's quite a many other people down this way. So it's a nice swimming hole. Bring the kids. You can look at a map and figure out how to get here. And I've seen this in videos before, but I didn't really remember that this is what we were coming to see. I believe there used to be a mill or something here, and this was dammed up to power the mill. I believe for the lumbering industry. Because as you know, this whole area was logged. Pennsylvania was left with essentially nothing for wood, and they dammed up streams for mills and things like that. And this up here, this would have been like a big pool of water, and somewhere here was a mill. I'm kind of forgetting my history here, but it was obviously would have been here someplace, or just below maybe, but this would have been a big pool of water. And I can't remember, there might have been like a mill race or something around here, because they dammed up the water and then the mill would have been maybe off to the side someplace, somehow how that works, and then there'd been a water wheel or some such thing. What a great view we have over here though of the Clarion River. Wow. When the sun hits the water a certain way, you can see it's like a dark brown, blackish color. And our tour guide yesterday up at the fire tower said another name for this river back in the day, before they officially named it Clarion, was the Black River. And that was because the water looked black from all the tannin from the hemlocks in this area. Since this was old growth virgin timber area, and probably one of the last places in Pennsylvania with a pile of hemlocks, this would have been the only place you could have seen such a river with all that tannin. Now, of course, nowadays you can see that a lot of places, and this river, you can tell it still has tannin in it, that's for sure. And you know, one of the places that we've seen that dark color the most, of course, was Tahquamenon Falls up in the Upper Peninsula. It was very, very evident there. That's why they called that Root Beer Falls, the locals did. But same concept here, and the white pines, I believe, release a little bit of tannin into the soil and stuff too. All that is of course why these species of trees are so important to the ecosystem. We're just now downstream from Hemlock Island. Not quite sure why they call it Hemlock Island. All I've really been seeing is sycamore, but our takeout point should just be right down here. So this is pretty much the end for today's adventure. We shall see you next week on Thursday at 5 o'clock. We're doing the Pine Run Loop in Clear Creek State Forest tomorrow, so that'll be next week's episode. Otherwise, we're headed back to the camper, and we're probably going to be cooking up something good. Our takeout point ought to be just down here on the left.